Hey guys, in this video, I wanted to talk about 3 books that every developer should read. As developers, we need to constantly keep learning and improving ourselves, and I believe that books is one way that we can do that. Now, unfortunately, there are very few people actually reading books today, especially among programmers. I don't know why that is, but I hope that I can encourage you guys to pick up a good book on programming, even one that is not mentioned in this video. It is just ridiculous how fast the technology is moving forward. There are new programming languages and new tools and technologies released every few months, even days. And it's just hard to keep up with all of them. So without further ado, here are my top 3 books every developer should read. Also, I just wanted to mention that the links for all of these books are going to be in the description below. The first book is Clean Code by Bob Martin, or Uncle Bob. Now, this one is a classic and I couldn't recommend it more. I wish that every developer at some point in their career would read it at least once. If you have ever looked at someone's code or even your own and had a hard time understanding what it does, it's probably because it was a bowl of spaghetti. The variable names were cryptic, the functions long, and files spanning thousands of lines. Then you wanted to make a change in your program and it broke a completely, seemingly unrelated functionality somewhere else. Well, that is a result of bad or dirty and fragile code. This book is going to teach you how to write good code. Code that will not break easily. Code that when you come back to it 6 months later, you won't want to throw it away because you just can't understand it. The book contains mostly small and easily digestible chapters, so it's very easy to follow along with plenty of practical examples. I wanted to share one quote. In this book, Bob Martin says, "If you want to go fast, if you want to get done quickly, if you want your code to be easy to write, make it easy to read." Indeed, the ratio of time spent reading versus writing code is well over 10 to 1. We are constantly reading old code as part of the effort to write new code. Therefore, making it easy to read makes it easy to write. And I completely agree with what he says here. You can't go fast by rushing your way through in any industry. If you're going to build a house or an aircraft, you don't want to throw it together overnight and hope for the best. No, you're going to take your time and make sure that the foundation is strong. You're going to test it and make it rigid. Well, the same principles apply to software development as well. So that's Clean Code by Bob Martin. And again, I will put the Amazon link in the description below so you can check it out. The next book is Refactoring, Improving the Design of Existing Code by Martin Fowler. This is another classic. This book is going to teach you to identify bad smells in your code. It will teach you how to structure your classes and your methods and business logic. It will also teach you how to unit test your code. This really is, I believe, one of the best books on refactoring out there. Refactoring is basically the process of rewriting software without changing the way that it functions in order to improve both its readability and testability, as well as its maintainability. It's going to teach you how a true professional thinks about their code. What is their thought process as they structure their code? And again, here's a quote by Martin. "Any fool can write code that a computer can understand. Good programmers write code that humans can understand. Whenever I have to think to understand what the code is doing, I ask myself if I can refactor the code to make that understanding more immediately apparent." And just to illustrate, here's a very simple example of that. If you look at this code, can you easily tell what it does? Well, I know I can't. You need to spend a lot of time trying to understand what this code does, and even then you're not exactly sure. Well, it turns out that this code validates and calculates the average grade mark. But when you look at this code, the variable names don't say what they stand for. The spacing is terrible. If this code validates and calculates the average grades, then why don't we say that? Take a look at this code. Look at how it reads like exactly what it does. It takes only a few seconds to understand what this code does. We didn't change the function of our program, we just made it easier to read. Well, that is the power of a good refactor. Our third book is Head First Design Patterns by Elizabeth Freeman. Now there's another older book called Design Patterns, Elements of Reusable Object-Oriented Software, but it's not a particularly easy read and the descriptions and examples might be a bit too difficult to follow. So I wouldn't recommend that for beginners. Head First Design Patterns makes design patterns much easier to understand. It's also a useful book for learning how to teach complex topics and making them interesting, as it's full of jokes and drawings and sarcasm. The premise of the book is that at any given moment, somewhere in the world, someone struggles with the exact same design problem that you have, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. With design patterns, you get to take advantage of the best practices and experiences of others so that you can spend more of your time on something that is unique to your program or the particular problem that you're trying to solve. And again, here's a quote from Eric Freeman. When you design and solve things in the simplest way possible, your goal should be simplicity, not how can I apply a pattern to this problem. And I chose this quote because I don't want you guys to fall into the trap of thinking that you need to use every single design pattern in your code just because others are using that design pattern in their code. The goal should be to keep your code as simple as possible, even if that means you don't use a single design pattern in your code. Because honestly, sometimes you just don't need it. So that's been it, guys, for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more educational videos like these. And I will see you guys in the next video.